Hey crafty cuties, welcome back to another December daily layout. I did day 12 on one of my previous videos, so you guys saw that, and I wanted to do a quick recap of a few other pages that I just did off camera. We're going to do day 13 together, so that's this layout right here. I saved that and I went ahead on a couple layouts. So day 14 was just all about my son. I put just a picture of him and this little journaling card that says, "Never lose your sense of wonder." I added this cute little vintage children's book page that has a little boy, obviously much younger than Alistair, but I thought it was really cute. And then it just flips open. Here's an envelope that has a little letter to Alistair. I really like writing letters to my kids and putting it in the journal. Day 15, I had to go back and make sure I actually was on 15. Day 15 was all about our letters to Santa. We sat down and wrote letters to Santa, so I have this envelope here which includes Alistair's letter to Santa, well, a copy of it, and I added a real Christmas stamp just because I think they're cute and I was willing to kind of waste one in my journal because I like it. Here's this Tim Holtz Santagram ephemera piece. And then this is a little flip up. It says "The Lost Letter to Santa" that I made on a previous video. And inside is just a picture of them creating their letters. And then I did a little bit of journaling about the day. On the back of this, there's a little pocket here with Arlo's letter, which was mostly just her coloring on it, and I wrote down some of the things she said. I left this page blank in case we get a response from Santa, and I'll probably just include the envelope and letter. That is actually the end of the journal. So after I finish this layout, the next video that you see will be in the new journal. So I'm glad that I decided to go ahead and do that. So this part I'm going to go through kind of quick. I wanted my background pieces for this page to just be some super duper lightly colored watercolor background. I mixed up a couple colors that I really liked, and one was just a super light kind of baby pink, and then I'm going to also use a baby blue color. And you can see I'm really diluting those colors with water. I wanted it to be almost nothing but just kind of a hint of color, because you're going to see in a few minutes that the layout that I'm planning to do is pretty colorful, at least on one side. So again, I'm just adding lots of water. I'm trying to let the colors kind of mix around. I could have even added more water, but it does really warp the paper. It's nothing that can't be fixed. You'll just need to dry your papers, either air dry them, or if you use a dryer, it's going to warp them even more. And then you'll just want to go ahead and flatten them with some really heavy books for a while, or at least that's how I do it. So I'm just doing the other side here because, like I showed you, I'm going to do that whole page where there's 2 pages that include the whole layout. Okay, so here's the pictures I'm documenting, which are photos of my kids making a gingerbread house. And this is the cute little gingerbread house that I made. I actually drew this and I kind of designed, or not kind of, I designed it myself. And so I thought I'm going to turn it into a printable. So this first page here is the completed decorated version. This is just the drawn and watercolored, and you can see on the left side there's all of the different little pieces that you can customize your gingerbread house with, and then these were 2 that I printed out extra that my kids drew on. So that's actually in my shop, and again, it's my hand-drawn design. It's not perfect. I'm not a super professional artist, but I just drew it by hand, and I loved how it turned out, and I thought it would be really fun to include in my shop as a printable. I turned mine into a pocket, which you're going to see on this layout, but you can also cut open the door and make like a little flap. You can cut the windows open. You could do a lot with it, and not to mention you can add all of these different pieces, which was just really fun to work with. So I had obviously scanned my final version, so I'm taking that off of the copy paper here, and I'm going to go ahead and reassemble it into my journal page. So I'm actually gluing this down to, I almost glued it down to my base page, that watercolor page, which, by the way, I let dry off camera. But I realized, I was like, whoa, wait, I wanted to create a pocket, so I can't glue it straight down. So this worked to my advantage though, because I actually wanted to make this a pretty sturdy pocket since it was watercolored on, so that also kind of warps the page a bit. So I just glued it down to a manila envelope, or sorry, a manila folder instead. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut around this entire thing again before I turn it into a pocket, which I'm going to sew onto the watercolor page. But yeah, I spent almost probably a day and a half, first of all, drawing this gingerbread house out and then coloring it with my watercolors, and it was just so relaxing and it was super fun, which is, yeah, why I was like, oh, I'll just include this in my shop. So anyways, you can see here that I'm just going to sew around the bottom and the sides, which again is going to create the pocket. So when I first had the idea to make the printable, my idea was to just include the blank version so that you can color it in yourself. It might be a good printable for kids and things too. I mean, my kids seriously loved coloring this in. But the reason why I included the colored version was because I was just thinking that maybe if you're looking for a simple page and you want to also document maybe some gingerbread house making, it would just be so easy to print that colored version out and just put it into your journal already. Okay, so you can see here I am going to put this manila tag behind the house. That's where I'll do my journaling. It was just a little bit big on the side, so I just trimmed it down just a touch. I'm going to use this green and white thread through the top of the tag. I always like to add a little bit of trim. It just makes it a little bit easier if you want to pull the tag out. I do go ahead and trim that down even a little bit more as we go along, but for now I was like, okay, that's fine, that's where it's going to go. So now I'm going to take those extra pieces and figure out where I would like to layer them on. Now this would be fun even if you had more space. My journal is only 5 inches wide, which might be pretty typical, so you can get a good idea of how much you can kind of fit on one page. You don't have to add these extra pieces, I just liked them all layered on. So I'm going to kind of work around and figure out where I want to put these pieces all. I loved the little Christmas tree, so I knew that I wanted to definitely include that. And again, the day that I'm documenting is when we actually made gingerbread houses, and it was such a fun day, and it was so fun to decorate those gingerbread houses because Arlo was super into it. So I'm just using my glue now to go ahead and glue that down. I'm fine with the tree hanging off the left side just a little bit because I have a little bit of extra space on that side, and that's where the opening of my journal is, so that works just fine for me. I'm going to go ahead and glue down one of the candy canes that's as big as the house, pretty much, and just layer that on right there. And then I wanted to add this little lollipop, but I wanted it to be a different length so that there was just a little bit more interest. So I went ahead and trimmed that, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue this down right next to that. And then, what are we doing now? We're going to move on to the left side. Here is this vellum piece from Tim Holtz. I thought it worked perfect. It says like world's famous candies, I think. And I wanted to create just a simple pocket so that I can put all of my photos in one side. I felt like there was already so much happening on the right side that a simple pocket would be just great. And I've been wanting to use these pieces from Tim Holtz for a while. I actually never got to make a video all about them. I wanted to, but I just never had a chance. I thought it would be fun to tie in one more piece from the left-hand side onto, from the right-hand side onto the left. And so you also get this little, I guess, book plate that says name and year. So I want to put that up in the upper corner. I ripped my tape off, and so you can see up on top there's just a little part where it kind of tore off the paint. But that was fine with me. I knew that I was going to put a number brad somewhere in the layout, so I thought I'll just put it right here. And I could have got my watercolors back out, but I really did not want to. So I'm just going to poke a hole, which was obviously challenging for me. And I will put my number brad through the hole. And this number is 13, so that's for day 13. Wait, 13 or 15? No, I'm confused. I think it was day 13. The little leg on the brad is a little bit too long, so I just go ahead and kind of twist that over. So I did go ahead and sew the pocket on off camera, and I'm going to write the names Alistair and Arlo. And then I'll go ahead and take my date stamp. Even though it says year, I just went ahead and stamped the entire date. I probably should have put name and date instead of name and year, but that was just what I did at the time. And I mean, it's fine, whatever. Yeah, that happened. I dropped my ink, and you guys, this was such a day. Arlo didn't nap, and anyways, I scrubbed off as much as I could. You could still see it, and just whatever. That's what happens. It's just been a day. Don't feel great, just because it's my lady time of the month, and like I said, my daughter didn't nap, and she naps every single day. Like, she never doesn't nap. And so she was a little extra grumpy, and yeah. Anyways, it was just a day. So I went ahead and glued that little book plate down, nameplate, I don't know what to call it. Here are my photos, and I decided instead of cutting them out or anything, I'm just going to plop them into the pocket. I could have cut them out and did something cute, but I didn't want to. So I had a Polaroid picture too, and I wanted to include it even though it was pretty similar to my other photos. So I went ahead and actually just glued this down onto the tag. And then for the rest of the space on the tag, I'm going to go ahead and do my journaling down here, and then I have the back of the tag as well. And then I'll go ahead and I can just stick that behind the little gingerbread house. I think this house is so cute. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I had such a fun time drawing it up and coloring it. So that's basically the final little layout. I am going to go ahead now and just glue these in to my spread. I'm really excited to start the next journal because now I know that I don't have to like hold back from doing anything that's dimensional. Like this layout, even though it's kind of plain, it was pretty dimensional just because I had a lot of layers of cardstock. And so yeah, I'm really excited that I don't have to worry about what I want to put in the next journal. So here is just a kind of a closer look. You can see that black ink on that darn vellum. Oh well, it still looks fine. I mean, honestly, I'm so glad it didn't fall on the gingerbread house. That would have been such a bummer. Okay, guys, well, thank you so much for sticking around with me. Oh, I hope you can see the shimmer on the gingerbread house too, because I used a shimmer pen. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye.